So I believe we have. I want to ask Jeremy Affeldt about this. Who, good friend of mine, we've had on for years and years and years. I'm sure Jeremy is live at the
What up?
brewery having his beer. How do I not have a beer right now?
Yeah, that's right. How do you not have a beer?
I don't have a beer. I'm going to rectify that shortly. Is there any way I can grab a beer from one of you fine gentlemen? I mean, I feel sad, like Jeremy, although you are a few hours ahead of me.
Yeah, good point.
I mean,
It's
not
3
that that's an excuse.
It's 1 o'clock. It's 1 o'clock your
It's not-
time. You can have a beer.
Oh, crap. It is 1 o'clock.
Yeah.
Oh. No, it's, I was almost going to wear my free roam shirt. That'd have been a little odd if we both would have been wearing it. Yeah, it's one of the great logos. It's an incredible logo. Now, unfortunately, because I live so far away from the brewery, I don't get to enjoy the beer as much as I get to enjoy the logo. But well, you know, there is this thing called UPS. Throw some in a box.
Yeah, that's what I need to get in trouble. California, if you ship anything there, you probably get arrested. You know, can't send it.
They'll come get you. Where can you ship to? Because I know it's different for different breweries. Even out here, they have different states that they can ship to. What kind of legislation do they have out there in Texas?
I can ship to there's 20 different states, I think, that I can ship to, but I got to have a distribution. So what I've done is I've stayed in house and we use FinTech to distribute around here a little bit, but I don't do any major distributing because I basically make you come to my brewery. That's how I do it.
Well, maybe we're gonna have to do that one of these days.
Yeah, you do it. They show up. They said, "Hey, we can't get your beer, so we came in from San Francisco." I'm like, "That's the gig."
Nice.
And he's
nice. Well, you can send me one of those lids, though.
I can. I need to too.
You can send me a lid. I don't think you're gonna get in trouble for that.
No,
that's a sweet lid.
Yeah, my wife makes them. Her shop. Yeah, she has a shop across the street called Gunpowder and Cabernet. Her two favorite things, gunpowder and wine. And all it is
that like a good combo?
Yeah.
I mean, is it a good combo? I'm not sure that's a good combo.
Yeah. Yeah, but it's a retail store. So it's just unisex. So she just kind of did it like that, where she does hats, shirts, she designs her own stuff. So it's great for me because if people like a hat, or they'll run over and she has different hats and they'll be like,
yeah,
I just want the Free Roam logo on that color hat. So people come in with random hats all the time, or they'll do a shirt. It's a really cool deal. She does that for everybody that comes in. So, so she can make them real easy. I'll make you some stuff up. I got to be in San Francisco in April, so I'll bring some over.
Oh, nice. Absolutely. I'll definitely wear that when I'm doing the pod. I wanted to ask you, by the way, for those that don't know, we're talking to Jeremy Affeldt, 3-time World Series champion with the San Francisco Giants. Now I'm pulling this kind of out of my ass because I don't remember precisely, but I'm going to say, how many years did you play? I'm going to go 13. I wanted to say 12, but I want to say 13 sounds better. I don't know why, but I'm going to go 13-year Major League.
Close, career. 14.
Missed it by one. 14, God dang it.
Yeah,
I knew it was a long one, man. I mean, you got to look at that though. And I know you're one of these guys that you just keep moving. You're not too much into looking behind you and all that kind of stuff. You're just kind of like, okay, what are we doing? What are we doing next? But when you stop and reflect every once in a while, you're just like, 14-year MLB career. I mean, that winning the championships, incredible. Everybody wants that. But I mean, just the longevity to be able to stay in the game for 14 years. There's not a lot of guys that can do that. That's, that got to make you smile when you think about it every now and again and go, that's something to be proud of.
Yeah, it is. What I came to realize on that is it's not always, because I mean, it wasn't like I had a 2.5 ERA right through 14 years. I had a 3.9. I had some really rough years starting. Plus, I was in Kansas City, where your strike zone's the size of a freaking paper plate when you pitch for them because you're supposed to suck, right? So, so you kind of had some rough years, but I just stayed healthy. It's like one of those deals where I feel like there's been so much talent in the game, and unfortunately, guys can't stay healthy enough to stay in the game.
Yeah.
But there are some great talent. I just was fortunate enough to stay healthy. I didn't have any major injuries. I continued to kind of try to reinvent myself a little bit. Every 4 years, I'd change up my fastball, or I'd change my arm slot, or I'd change my breaking ball, or I just tried to do different things. And then once I got to San Francisco, I just simplified it. Part of it was he had a ridiculous bolt or a rotation, that came pretty much up, set up all the hitters for you. You just had to throw the kitchen sink at them and let them hit it. But I think that it was just my arm stayed healthy. I had random weird injuries, obviously, but my arm just stayed healthy. Very thankful for the career I had, to be honest with you. It was awesome.
All right, I'm going to crack open a beer with you. I'm going to go with, it's a beer called Straight Leg out of Wondrous Brewing over in Emeryville.
Yeah.
They got some real good beer over there. So since you bring this up, I mean, obviously we're going to get to the Giants and all that this year, but I was talking to Brandon Hyde, and I asked him if he had any explanation for the rash of injuries with pitchers nowadays. And I related it to basketball a little bit, in that I went back and looked at like 1988, 89, about the time I came into the league, the top 20 players in the game. Most of them played 80 games. Few of them played 82 games. I think the fewest was like 70. Now, maybe one played 67, but they all played is what they did. And with baseball, back in the day, guys would throw, 200 innings, 180, 240, 220, whatever, and then they do it again the next year. And the thing I'm having a hard time reconciling is the pitchers, the players, the organizations have more knowledge now than they ever did. They have more technology now than they ever did. They have bigger training staffs than they ever did. They have better travel. They have better dietary habits. I mean, they have everything. They have. I just don't understand how you have all those advancements over the last 30, 40 years, and guys get hurt more now. Do you have an explanation for that? Because that's when basketball and baseball it's kind of weird. I'm like, well, how do we have more, yet we have less players available?
Yeah, I think some of it has to do with the fact that they all are max effort guys, pitching wise. I feel like they all try to I mean, when I was out in camp a couple weeks ago, I got to sit down. I saw all the technology, because I'm not exactly, I don't like analytics. I think it messes. I think it gives you paralysis, right?
Mm-hmm.
A little bit in the brain. It's not that it's not good for you. It's not that it's not real. It's just you overthink, So and so you just can't keep it simple, stupid. I used to have this thing, KISS, man. Keep it simple, stupid. Just but you can't now with all the technology, or you have to really make a conscious effort. So they have everything. They break down the skeletal on everybody. You can pull a clip. They can see where his shoulder's lowering, and it could cause and get it all back up there. But you can do all of those things. You can have all those things, but your body really isn't meant to throw as hard as some of these guys are throwing. And some of them, Nolan Ryan did it. Like, you had some guys that threw hard back in the day. Bob Gibson did it. You had guys that threw hard. Seaver did it. Drop and drive guys. You had guys that threw hard. Even in my era, you had guys that threw hard, but not everybody. Like, everybody throws 97 right now.
Yeah.
So they're really maximizing that deal. So now when you have all of those guys, now when you went from a handful of guys to the majority of the guys throwing the upper 90s, some of the low hundreds, you're going to have an explosion of injuries, because guys are really trying to just max effort up there, rather than be more like, hey man, how about 3 pitches or less, get the guy out. I mean, I talked to so many guys down there, and they're like, man, what would you do? I'm like, well, one, I'd back it off about 3 miles an hour, and I'd throw down in the zone. Try that, because they're throwing 5 pitches, 6 pitches to every guy, like, these hitters are trying to hang on, foul everything off, and sometimes they get them, sometimes they strike them out, but it's just hard on the body, and so I feel like with that, then with the travel is better, but it's still hard on you. You're traveling time zones and recovery. They're doing a lot better job of that. I agree with all of that. They're trying everything they can, but the reality of it is, you're just maxing out these athletes, but they're maxing out every day. So it's pretty tough on the body, I think.
Yeah. I just saw, we just ran it across the bottom there. Jordan Montgomery of the Diamondbacks, Tommy John surgeries. He's going to be out this year. And I think it's a mentality, and I think this is where analytics really come into play. Because, and I've talked about, the game isn't quite as fun as it has been in the past. Like, I know I'm the old guy, like, right, get off my lawn type guy, but I'm like the game was different when I was growing up. It's like, you did bunt, you did hit and run. Guys were more athletic. There was just more going on. There were more balls in play, and nobody wants balls in play anymore. They want to, take that out of the equation. Let's have a walk, a strikeout, or you hit it over the wall. Don't try to hit it. Don't try to move guys around the base, all that kind of stuff. But I think teams look at it from this standpoint. They're like, hey, we got bullpen guys. We can blow through these guys who all throw 97, 98. So just you max out, get us to the 6th inning, and then we'll go from there. We're not even going to ask you to go 180, 200, 210 innings because we have guys that can, like, we're paying 900,000, million, 1,500,000. A few of them are getting pretty good bucks. But if those guys go, then we'll just keep getting more of those. But in the process, I think what's happening to these pitchers is mentally, a lot of them are thinking, okay, 6, I'm good. Maybe even 5, I'm good. 6, I'm good. They don't have the fight through, like, hey, let me get to 8, let me get to 9. Like Logan Webb has that. Logan Webb's like old school that way. Like, hey, I want to finish this game. And I think that happens. But I also think the arm gets conditioned. Like, the arm probably gets fatigued after 100 pitches now because it's not used to going 120, not used to going 125 because everybody's worried, well, if we tax them, they may get hurt. Well, fucking, they're getting hurt anyway. Like, I mean, so I don't see the trade-off here, but I think the whole mentality in the organization looks at it differently, where it used to be like back in the 80s, 90s, like, look, if we have to put in bullpen guys, we'll put them in, but our starters are so much better. We're going to ride those as long as we can. Now the bullpen is so much better, and we're asking the starters less, and it's just, I don't know. But I think that hurts a little bit as well.
It does. I think one of the things I can tell you about the Giants this year that I really appreciated, one, I got to sit in because they find us, Buster taking over. They finally let us back in camp. They tried to keep us out of there for the last 5 years.
Did they really?
Oh yeah, they didn't bring us in. They didn't want us in there.
Really?
Because I mean, people said why.
Yeah, but knowledge is always good. I get it though, but I mean, still,
but it's like they don't want us going in there, and they don't want us saying, hey, like, just think of it this way, or throw the spin rate. Where guys like us are going to go, hey man, grow a pair of balls and throw a strike down the zone. Challenge a guy. So Farhan, those guys are like, we don't want that. So but Buster, he's going to bring us all back. He's like, no, like, get in there and come in. I need you to talk to these guys. Like, I don't tell them how to pitch. I don't tell them arm slot. I talk to them about the mental side of the game. They have pitching coaches. I just wanted to talk to them about how I thought of the game, how we had a lot of fun. You guys are so analytic. Even talking to these guys, talking analytics. These kids that have been brought through, they're talking analytically, and I would just stare at them. This one kid was saying something.
I know you love your analytics.
And I looked at him. I said, I have no idea what you just said. All I know is you need to throw that sinker at the bottom of the zone 7, 5, 6, 7 out of 10 times. Move it, pound him in, and get him to hit the ball on the ground. Ball stays in the ballpark, less runs score. That's all I know. And I'm telling you, your sinker's good enough. Stay down there. Because I try to simplify it for them, because they actually try to make it difficult to explain their situation. I'm like, what? So, but Buster's done a good job of bringing both and. I did appreciate some of the analytical guys, because they're funny. They got some funny guys on the Giants. They've got, great guys. And they broke it down they were kind of, hey man, we're not all about the numbers.
Nerds.
But the numbers help us understand the situation, but it's not all about the numbers. But then Buster, man, they just watching the board, Melvin and his crew back there, I mean, they were going situational hitting. The way they were grading players every day, they graded them every day. And they had a whole system on how they did it. I kind of was starting to figure it out near the end of my time there. And I appreciate that they're working on situational hitting. They're working on situational, like even count hitting, how they were swinging certain counts. Did they work a count? Did they get 2-out hits, 2-out RBIs? They move a guy over. Pitchers, they back up the bag. Did they not back up the bag? Did they move around? Did they work counts? I mean, that for me gave me hope, because I'm like, now we're playing the game. We're not just out there just doing analytics and say, go out there and give your best. Now we're playing the game of baseball and just talking. And they let Rags back in. Rags has been brought back in the fold, and he's, that guy's like a savant when it comes to pitching.
Yeah.
So just like talking to that guy and everybody's kind of on that same page of like, just got to convince these guys to pound the zone. First pitch strikes, get ahead. And the statistics are there, and they're doing a lot better. I got a lot of hope for them this year. I really do, which more than I had before I came in there.
Well, that's the thing. You want to make analytics seem like they're not analytics. So you're not always like thinking about numbers. You can go out there and play. Like one of my least favorite things in baseball is between batters, they'll show the infield. What do? Let me get my card.
Okay. Oh, God, dude.
And then they take like a half a step to the right. I'm like, well, you know what? If you were paying attention and watching the game, you might have actually known how your pitcher pitches, where he's pitching, what the scouting report is, and where this guy likes to hit the like. I think we're losing some of that too. Is like it's not really instinct because that either you have or you don't, but just a feel for the game. Because we're taking away all the need for the feel of the game. They're telling you like what to swing, like which you should swing at, swing with max effort. But they're also like, okay, here's where you play in the field. It's like whatever happened to like getting on the rail and watching the game and kind of having a feel for the game. And I think that hurts. I really do. I can't quantify. That's the thing. Analytics, you can always quantify, so you can always justify it. The things we're talking about, you can't really quantify it, but athletes know they exist. Like, when you play with someone who knows baseball and just knows how to read certain situations, just like I know in basketball. Like I know a guy by watching him who knows how to play the game, whether they're good or not. I just know they understand how to play. That's not quantifiable, and people that are in the analytics get very uncomfortable with things they can't quantify.
That's right. Yeah, you're right. They do. They can't, because you can't put a number on just being heads up baseball.
Yeah.
Like you didn't put a number on Jeter when he ran across the freaking infield to cover first base, to backflip it to the catch.
Yeah,
analytics aren't going to put him there. Like that's not a play that a computer designs. So those kind of things you need. But what's going to happen, like you said, they're going to lose that ability to feel that way because their card didn't tell them they need to be in that position. So that's the danger that I was talking, that the paralysis that it's giving you is they're relying on it rather than letting it aid them. And that's where I think the Giants are doing a little better job of, the coaches are using it more. But I think if they can kind of create that easy thought process for some of these kids, and you could almost see it. I feel like when you would talk to them about simplifying the game, at first it was almost harder for them. Like if you simplify it, it's more difficult. They want to, talk it out, and it's like, man, slow the brain down a little bit, and that's and I get it. In some ways, they're so far one way, unfortunately, where you got to try to figure it out. And I think that's where Buster and that crew and Melvin and his crew have to all figure it out. But because they've been so far into this, you can't take it all away now. If you take it all away, they'll implode, because then the players will be like,
it'll be like getting the bends. You go up too fast.
Their brain will just blow up, like they wouldn't. So you can't fully take it away. But I went down and hung with some of the minor league coaches too and talked to them, and they're trying to kind of, hey man, because my biggest thing is like, okay, when you're throwing a bullpen, you got whatever that tracker they got the whole, all the it's the golf one, whatever the golf simulator type tracker thing is.
I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
So they got those out there, right? On every bullpen, everywhere, and a TV out there, and they'll throw a pitch and they'll look at the screen. They didn't even see where the pitch went. These guys are throwing pitches, and before it hits the glove, they're looking at the TV screen to look at spin rate, angle, and it's like, wait a minute. When you're out on that mound and it's hitting the fan out there and you're facing Ohtani with freaking runners on first and second, you don't have a TV screen telling you your spin rate. What do you feel? Like, what do you feel like you need to do? You got to feel it. You got to feel like, hey, what is my fastball feeling like? How do I make adjustment pitch to pitch by how I feel? I don't have a screen over there. So it's a really hard dynamic. And so I think they're trying to figure out how to get guys to feel it, understand what they're feeling, almost say what they're feeling, how they're going to fix it, make the adjustment, and then look at the screen and tell me if you made the adjustment. That's coaching. Yeah. That's using, like you said, the basically the analytics to coach them, not to live and die on. And I think that's what they're really trying to do right now. And I think it's working, because the camp that I saw, that pitching is pretty dang good, and their position players are great, and their situational hitting is phenomenal. And I think I'm expecting big things, whether it happens or not. I'm expecting better than I was before I went into camp from this team.
Oh, okay. Sure. Well, give me the reason for the optimism.
One, I've never seen a hitting approach like I saw. Like, I mean, they've got guys with power, they've got guys with speed, but they've got guys that are willing to work counts. But man, they're staying in counts. Pat Burrell and all those guys got these guys like understanding what counts are in, why they're in it. Matt Williams, all the guys at defense, the way they're trying to teach these guys to defense wins, and the pitchability, back there. I mean, they're really trying to utilize these pitchers, and I feel like, with Verlander and Ray, their stuff, they were looking pretty good. The only thing that I worry about, I mean, it's their health, right? That's what it's going to come down to, the health on those two guys. But they've got it. They know what they're doing out there, and they've got these. So you have Logan Webb, who's obviously a number one potential All-Star every single year. You got Verlander, Hall of Famer. You got Robbie Ray, Cy Young guy. Those three guys know how to pitch, and then you've got the last two guys. You got Hicks, who is like great stuff, like phenomenal stuff. He just needs to figure it out. But 97 power sinker should be able to dominate, and follow Logan Webb. And then you got the fifth guy, you got Birdsong or Root, whatever they want, but they're learning from these other three guys. So you have a little bit of that veteran rookie mentality. And then talking to these bullpen guys, man, the stuff that they've got down there right now, it's pretty good. It's just honing them in and getting them to believe in themselves a little bit. But in closeout games, the seal up games, they need to seal up. But I think they'll have enough to seal up. So I think they just have a lot of energy and one pitcher told me, I said, what is it different? What is different between this year and last year? And this is out of his mouth. He said, most of us played with Buster. And I think when he took over, we looked at each other and we're like, we want to win for that guy. And that's a pretty big thing to say, so you got guys now that are, bringing in and saying, I want to win for him. I want to play hard for that guy, because he knows the game. He knows how to do it right. He believes in us. He's taken over. We're going to trust that situation. And you'll be surprised what happens to an athlete when that happens. So that's why I feel good about the season. We'll see what happens.
Yeah. I'd want to win for him too, because he's had such a rough life. Really? I mean,
yeah. He had a hard time building that extra house for all his trophies. I think
exactly. So I really, I gotta get him another one. Tell me what you saw, because I think one of the keys to the season is going to end up being the guy that's not even with the team, is Kyle Harrison, and he was their, he was a top 5 prospect in baseball, their number 1 prospect in the minors. And just, it hasn't quite hit. And we know how he likes to, fastball top of the zone, ride the fastball. When it's 95, 96, a lot different than when it's 91, 92. And he lost some steam last year, maybe a little confidence. Secondary pitches probably needed a little refining. But what'd you see from him? And what do you think about, long term? Can he be the guy that, they hoped he would be, if not an ace, a top of the rotation type pitcher?
Yeah, I think they're trying to give him every benefit of the doubt. Reality is he lost some velo last year. They're trying to figure out why. They think he's a little lower than he was. I kind of looked at film on him just because I was talking to one of the analytic guys, and I was like, hey man, you fix him yet? And they laugh. And I'm like, it's your job, dude. Fix him. You got the skeletal deal. Like, figure it out. Fix the guy. You're tanking
you got the skeletal deal.
Like you got all these screens and stuff. You should fix it by now. So I would be on him every day. But you know what? I think it didn't help that he got sick. He got sick and dropped some weight in camp to a point where he lost a lot of weight. And so he's kind of coming back. So I think he's going to get it back again. I think he's just behind everybody. I think he's 2 or 3 weeks behind everybody. Got to get his velo back up. He did touch his last start that I saw. We didn't start. He came in out of the bullpen. And his last, he came in and he ran up there near 95. He's getting it back up there again.
Okay.
And really, if you're going to pitch at the top of the zone, you better carry it over 95. Like, you just have to. Like, if you want to go at the bottom of the zone, you can back off, but you better figure that out. But I think he's going to be back. I think he's going to be fine. I just think that that was the biggest thing for me is I looked at Buster before I left. I'm like, good luck making these decisions. And he's like, well, it's a good problem to have when I got to have all of these pitchers that I could all be on the team and they're just not going to be on the team, and it's not because they're not good enough. It's just, we only have 25 slots, and that's a good problem to have, but I think they'll push each other. The big thing is for Kyle, do not get frustrated. Do not get down on yourself. Don't, pitch to get back to the big leagues. They focus on that, not on the uncontrollable of not being in the big leagues. That's a big deal. You gotta get focused on getting back to the big leagues. But again, there's got to be slots. If all 5 of these guys pitch, it's going to be a tough deal, and the expectations are high right now, I think, for this team going into the season. So
what are the
we'll see what happens.
What are the odds you're ever going to see Lincecum come down to camp?
Oh man, it would be awesome. I mean, he would be so cool. Like, he comes into camp, it would be really fun. I don't, the tough thing is some of these things, he's been out of it so long, which is understandable. But some of these kids, like, you talk to these kids about certain pitchers and they just look at you like, who? I'm like, oh, dear Lord, we've been out of this game way too long. So some of that, but man, bringing him back and just being in camp and having a good time with some of these guys would be really, really fun. It'd be very important. I just want him, honestly, not even camp. I'd love for him just to come back to the ballpark, just come show up for a little bit, and show. I mean, we love him. He's loved. So I hope he can find time to do that.
You think maybe he works for the CIA or something?
I don't know. Yeah, he might have. I mean,
he's just undercover, man. That guy's off the grid.
Yeah, he just dove. I know some of the guys got to him. Where are we at? We were at the reunion. He didn't come, and some guys just went to his house, knocked on the door, and just walked in. Like, bro, they just hung out with him. So it's fine. It's Timmy. But yeah, he's kind of gone off the grid. But I mean, you never know where he's at. He's like Waldo, man. Like, he really is. Like, I called him one time to try to get him to. I'm like, where you at? He's like, Japan. Okay. Like, what are you doing? He's like, oddly, I'm watching a baseball game. I'm like, what? I was like, well, can you get back for Bochy's thing? Because I need you to fly back for Bochy's thing. He's like, yeah, I probably could do that. I'm like, oh, all right. He did. It was great, but it was definitely an interesting conversation.
That is great. All right, real quick, a few questions to wrap it up. What do you think? This won't take long because I can't imagine anybody's going to agree with this, but what do you think of the proposed, I don't think it'll ever happen, but the golden batter rule?
Oh man, where you get to pick a guy or something? What's the rule?
Yeah, you like in the 9th inning, 8th, whatever. You get to pick a guy out of order and just put him back up at the plate.
Yeah, great. I just hit him in the ribs. You wasted that one. Put him on first. It's like, I mean, you're gonna put.
Oh, you can hit him again. That'd be amazing.
Just be like, hey, you gotta put him up there. I'm just gonna. Oh, that's who you're gonna pick to win. I'm just gonna hit him next guy. You'd
be the first guy ever to hit the same guy twice in a minute.
I definitely would. I could see doing that. For sure.
Oh, that is great. All right, former pitcher. What do you think about the robo-ump?
Don't like it because it is the whole base. The game is based on life isn't fair. How are you going to get yourself out of it? You're going to get a strike called. You're going to get a ball called. You're going to have a count go your way. You're not going to have a count go your way. It's a chess match, and it's on human error. We all make it. It's what the game's been built on. It's fine. I mean, I watched it a little bit in camp. You could challenge it. I watched it, and some of these things, catchers know it. It's like, no, I'm gonna check that one. You missed it, and they'd be right a lot. Sometimes they'd be right, but but then it was like, man, it's really close. And the way these guys are like taking a pitch because it's like a half an inch outside, swing the bat. It's part of the game. Throw the ball, hit the ball, field the ball. Quit nitpicking. You're not paid to walk. So I don't
Remember
like
when
how
it used to be fun to get a hit? Hey, I want to get a hit.
Yeah,
it's
now
close
it's
to the
fun
strike zone. I'm going to swing at it because I want to hit the ball.
Yeah, I want to swing. Remember, what's his face? The catcher used to stand up when he freaking caught Yogi Berra. Yogi Berra used to stand. Remember those old clips? He's like standing up. I mean, because the concept is like, hey, just throw it up in this area and we're gonna hit it. So you're getting all nitpicky, but now you got guys that you walk a guy and he bat flips you and throws his little shoe guard off and does a 360. It's like, oh god, here we go. So
big accomplishment. Help my OPS. There we go.
Got it up there.
Okay, this is mine. This hasn't been proposed, but I would propose it. So baseball has gone to kind of NBA, NHL style schedule now, where it's balanced. You're going to play everybody from the opposing league once. You may play them their place. You may play them your place. You'll just alternate. Fewer games in your division, and then I think everybody plays the same amount in their league, whether it be National League or American League. So my proposal is now ditch the American League and National League awards. Make them one award, one MVP, one Cy Young, whatever award you're going to give. Just like it'd be dumb if we give an Eastern Conference, Western Conference NBA MVP. Like it's one now. Everything's the same. The umpires are the same. Everyone's got the same similar schedule. Let's just go one MVP. What do you think?
I don't mind that because you are breaking it up now. I mean, I looked at the schedule and you're playing the Houston and the Yankees like right out the gate. They're in the American League, so they're not even staying National League, American League. I don't mind that. I kind of think that's Cy Young should be the best pitcher in the game.
Yep.
Period. Yep. The best MVP, the best player in the game. Period. So especially if you're going to go even, I like that. I think it's important. For that, I think runner-ups are going to be a little bit pissed off, but I think but it's part of it. Be better, right? So
exactly, be better. I'm sorry you can't get the $500,000 bonus to add to your $42 million salary. It's going to crush you.
They should just donate that money when you get that. Like,
absolutely. I hope they do. All right, a couple more. When is what's growing up?
Yeah.
What's the one dish your mom cooked that you looked forward to the most?
Oh man, what was it? I know there's a couple. Her enchilada. I didn't even like enchiladas as a kid. I loved her enchiladas. So enchiladas and her homemade mac and cheese were probably my two favorite things I couldn't wait for. In fact, I have that recipe on the homemade mac and cheese still, and I make it for the boys. Yep.
Wow.
Yeah, I loved it. Yeah.
That's
it is definitely not healthy. I looked at my mother and I'm like, this is a reason why we have high cholesterol in the family, because you make stuff like this, but I'm making it for my boys.
Mac and cheese isn't supposed to be healthy.
Yeah, it's definitely.
I'm sorry, that's not the way you're supposed to get down with mac and cheese.
Yeah,
it's supposed to be unhealthy. Okay, growing up, what was the most trouble you got into from your parents, and what punishment did you receive for it?
Trouble. I gotta think of what I got. I got in some weird trouble.
Yeah, no, that shocks me.
Yeah. This is no joke. I know it's going to sound like a weird story because, your dad walked 100 miles in his bare feet up a hill in snowstorm, but we were in Washington and my dad and I got into it. And I was probably, I think it was my sophomore, junior year. It's a little power struggle, like you all have with your dad. Your son is just a power struggle.
You're like 15, 16?
Yep. Total line with him.
Okay.
And it got into it with him, and him and I got into a little bit of a shoving match. It was in the early 90s. You can do that now without getting arrested, right? Back then.
Exactly. Yeah.
Or
you have a book written about you, one of the other.
Yeah. So we got into it a little bit, and I remember I'm like, I said, and he's like, you think this is your house? And I was like, basically trying to do the pecking order deal.
Yeah.
And my dad was like, you forget whose house this is. And I'm like, well, it's obviously my house. I live here too. He's like, oh, it's your house. Yeah. And so he's like, okay. So he threw me out. I said, I don't care. So he threw me. I says, go. I said, fine. I'll make it on my own. He's like, yeah, go for it. So,
wow.
I didn't have a car yet. I started to go walk because I didn't have a car. And I tried to, and it was in the winter, snow. Try to grab my bike because I'm like, well, it's not going to work real well. But my dad's like, oh no, I paid for that bike. That's my bike. You didn't pay for that. So I said, fine. So I left it and I started walking. And my dad goes, what are you doing? My shoes. I paid for those shoes.
No, shut up. My
Swear
shoes?
to God. He goes, I paid for those shoes.
Lord.
Those are my shoes. You can take whatever you bought since you think you're the big man. Take it with you. So I took the shoes off and threw it at him. And he goes, I ain't done yet. Those are my socks. I paid for them. I had to go down to my socks. And my dad said, and the only reason you're keeping your shorts and your T-shirt on right now, because I was in the house, he's like, is because I'm halfway feeling bad for you. But go. And I walked all the way to my friend's house a mile in my bare feet in the snow. I swear to God, in the snow.
Wow.
And I sat at their house and I did. My dad literally, I had to spend the night. My dad didn't have me back. And then I went back the next day and apologized. And he's like, all right, so you get two choices: respect my rules or start paying rent and buy your own stuff. I respected him. So
easy choice.
Yeah, I went with that.
Easy choice.
Yeah.
It's funny. It's funny that that's your story, because I remember when, and I used to catch a whooping every once in a while. I know that shocks everybody that's listening to me. But I forget how old I was. Like I didn't get them when I was younger. I did, but they didn't stop. Like I got one when I was probably like 15. When I was 15, I got a spanking. So my dad was spanking me, and I was like 50. I was like, I've had enough of this bullshit, man. I've just had enough. So I just I kind of rose up and like grabbed his shirt, and I'll never forget the look in his face. The look in his face was like, did you really do that?
Yeah.
And I immediately regretted it. Like, I wish I would have just taken the extra 2 swats and just sucked it up and just go, you know what? Let's just go. But I just felt like, okay, because I was bigger than him, although he wasn't small. He was like 6'2", probably 220, boxed a little bit in the Navy. So he's a tough dude.
Yeah.
And he just put me in a wrestling term, put me in a small package, like one hand just, and I was like, And it's like, whap, whap. And I could feel like, I was like, you know what? They weren't going to be that hard until you screwed this up. And I just I just kind of went limp. I just go, okay, I'm just going to take this and get it over.
Yeah, the energy level was way up on the spanking.
Fighting is useless at that point. I was like, what did I do? I think that might have been the last one I got too. But like back then it was different, because dads are just like, And my dad always told me too, he goes, look, you may be bigger than me, boy, and you may be stronger than me, but I'll always have a 2x4.
Yes, that's right.
I was like, all right, good tip. I got, I get where you're coming from on that.
No, I always say that with my son. He's 6'5", he's 250, strong. He threw up 330 the other day on the bench.
Oh man!
And I just looked over at my wife, and I'm like, I'm gonna have to cheat, honey. If I have to do it, I'm gonna have to cheat. I'm gonna cheat. I'm gonna kick him right in the nads. I'm just gonna have to do it. Like, I don't really know what else I can do. He's too strong. I mean, that kid. I'm gonna do it. Yeah, I'm gonna have to do it. Like, I was like, but he's an awesome kid. I'll never have to do that. But I was just like, dude, they're just strong kids. And I had another ex-teammate, Jason Grimsley, looked at him and said, hey man, just always remember this: your dad doesn't think, you will. So whenever you go at your dad, remember, he doesn't think. You're going to think right before you're going to want to do something to him. You're going to be like, this is my dad. Your dad's not going to think,
no,
because he loves you too much to think, buddy. So don't ever go at your dad. But man, it's amazing. I've towed the line with my oldest son only a couple times. He was pouting one time after a football game, and I just got tired of it. And we towed a line a little bit, and he went right at me, and he's nose to nose. And I'm like, do it. Go ahead. But you better end it. And it was so funny. He's sitting there and he's looking at me, and he starts to kind of get a little teared up because he knows he's gone too far. Right. And I'm just staring at him. And my little wife, she's like 5'3". She like gets right in the middle between us. And she says, you over there, you over there. And we both looked at each other, and we looked down at her, and we're like, yes, ma'am. And we just both split up, and we just went to our corners, and then we hung out. We talked it out after, but it's those things like it happens, right? Like, my son's never gone too far. I just did, it's sad. But
I was messing with my dad one time. We both watch boxing, and I love watching boxing. So I was just saying, like, I was doing the bob and weave around. I'm like, come on, we had boxing gloves. I go, look, come on, let's put on the gloves. Let's go. he goes, no, I'm not gonna put on the gloves with you. I'm not gonna do it. I go, oh, chicken? Chicken. Okay, come on. He goes, no, I'm not gonna put on the gloves with you. He goes, so finally he'd had enough. And he goes, all right, let's put on the gloves. So we go in the backyard. We had a patio back there, and we were inside the patio. We both put on the gloves. I'm like dancing around, thinking I'm Muhammad Ali. Snap a jab out there, snap a jab. And he comes in, and I swear he comes in and he ducks, and he swung this left hook, and it missed me by about a millimeter, but I could smell it as it went by my nose, and I just took the gloves off. I go, are you kidding me? I go, are you serious? You might have killed me.
Yeah.
He goes, well, you wanted me to box? He goes, I was going to box. And I go, all right, we're done. Never asked me to box again. I was like, Mom, this Joker's out here trying to kill me. You kidding me?
Yeah. Great adventure, Dad. Thanks. Cool.
You got to be kidding me. All right, before we let you go, last one. Worst fashion choice you've ever made?
Worst fashion choice? In the Kansas City Royals uniform, you can find it. I went with the freaking Justin Timberlake blonde tips. Pretty upsetting when you see it. It's a bad deal. Like, my son found it and he put it as a screensaver. I mean, it is not good. I had the tips, the tipped out deals. Like, spiked hair with the little frosted tips.
I had the spiked hair too in the blonde. I didn't go tips, so I went straight
frosted
platinum.
Tips. It's not good. It was not good.
Tips.
Dude. Oh man, in a Royals uniform, it just was bad all the way around.
We're trying to see if we could find it to find a shot of it right here.
I'm telling you,
apparently
it is so bad.
It says scrub the frosted tips. So
I'm hoping they did. I'm hoping that it is not good.
But you weren't the only one. That was kind of a thing back then.
It was, but then when you look back on it, I'm like, oh
yeah.
Man, it's just not a good deal. But I tell my sons all the time, they come out in their outfits, and I'm like, I promise you, in 20 years, you're gonna look back and you're gonna be like, I'm an idiot. I'm an idiot, and so just know it's gonna happen if you keep wearing that outfit. And they're like, oh no. And now they got this thing called drip. Oh, it's drip, Dad. I'm like,
drip. I don't even get it.
I don't know what drip means, but I know that looks stupid. But if you want to wear it, go ahead. And they're like, it's drip. I'm wearing it. I'm like,
it's
okay, drip. I don't even know. I'm like, oh man, I'm getting old. I don't even know.
So am I. So am I. They do the Warrior games are like fit or drip. I'm like, I don't even know what it is. I'm like, what are you talking about? Can't they just say good or bad or yay or nay or they do something simple like that? We got to go drip. Exactly. I feel like I need a younger person's thesaurus. So I'm like, okay, that's what that means.
Yeah, drip.
Got it. That's what that means.
It's bling or something.
Hey, brother, always appreciate you coming on. Hopefully we can do it throughout the course of the season a little bit. I always love talking to you. And when you come out in April, hit me up. We'll go out and go out and grab a beer and get a chance to see each other.
Yeah, let's do it. Awesome, man.
How's the brewery doing? Still doing really good?
Oh man, we're killing it.
That's great.
Yeah, we're having our best year yet. It's been great. Super awesome, super fun. So we're
still selling Dodger tears.
No, we should do it.
There's not a lot of tears going on.
No. Right now it's Dodger Smiles. We actually don't want to make good beer for the Dodgers. We want to make bad beer for the Dodgers. But
you don't want to do that. Oh, that's a cool place. They're showing it to me on the screen here.
Oh yeah,
that is.
Yeah, the beer garden is the best thing about it.
I thought it was going to be more like a industrial look, which is kind of the most of the craft breweries are in these warehouse type deals. But
back behind there
that's sharp.
Yeah, back behind there is 7,500 square foot. I got a flatbed. You see, that's an old beer garden. That's not the new one. But we got a 1955 flatbed delivery truck from Fort Hood that I pulled in there and dropped and put a stage on it. So everybody that plays on the stage plays on a flatbed truck. It's awesome. It's super cool.
We're gonna have to get out and do a live show. That's it.
Oh, it's killer, man.
To go there.
Yeah,
I hit a couple people up in Texas. I'll hit you up. I'll hit Brent Jones up. He's over in Dallas, that's sharp. Yeah, let's definitely do that. And we'll talk occasionally throughout the course of the season. I always love the conversation. You've always been good to us when I was on the show, so I appreciate that. And I have a good time talking to you. So let's talk a little baseball this year if we can.
Heck yeah, anytime, man. Let me know.
Thanks, Jeremy. Appreciate it, man.
All right, man. All right, guys.
All right, man. Have a great day. All right. Jeremy Affeldt, everybody.